Lego games, we all know them. You have played the classics like the Complete Saga or Indiana Jones, or have played the more modern games like the Skywalker Saga or DC Supervillains. But one of the most forgotten games is Lego The Hobbit, releasing back in April 2014, 2 years after the release of the amazing Lego Lord of the Rings game back in 2012. The Hobbit game covered the first 2 Hobbit films made by Peter Jackson, and even though TT Games promised a DLC for the Battle for Five Armies film, it sadly never happened. Moving back to the release content, Lego The Hobbit had 16 story-based levels, sharing Bilbo's great adventures to the dragon and the mountains of Erebor, and Gandalf's weird side quest that was only included for the films, and one bonus level where you play as the stone giants. Some notable levels are Azog the Defiler, Goblin Town, and Out of the Frying Pan and Into the Fire. All levels except the bonus one has 10 mini kits that can be seen in Rivendell if you want to see the complete collection, 4 treasure items, and 1 blacksmith schematic. And you can also unlock the achievement of Master Burglar. At this point I would like to say I have 100% completed this game, all mini kits, all collectibles you can get in the game once, so I have quite an educated, basically, mind on this game. Most levels in this game are good, and the extra content that was added for the films works much better here as it really pans out the otherwise lackluster levels. The bosses are also a big part of this game, including Smaug, the game's main villain, the Goblin King, and Azog. Sauron, or as he's known in the game, the Necromancer, is also included, but personally I didn't find his boss battle as fun, so you're kind of just fighting a giant eye, and I have recently replayed those levels and I didn't find them super fun. Bosses are also located in the free play, which normally they're quite funny, like Azog's mother, and just general stuff like that, and like baby trolls and stuff, but overall the bosses are pretty good. Another thing that the games did better than the films is making the dwarves unique. Killy is the only one with a bow, which is pretty cool. Dory is the only one with a chain, meaning he can pull like metal chain objects, and Dwalin is the only one who can use the hammer smash to move heavy objects. Overall, the dwarves in this game are much better than in the films, and I'll talk about more in a second. Whilst playing levels, you also encounter Mithril, bricks of the prize, for collecting all of a certain item, such as mini kits or treasure items. Another feature that is included in this game is the build mechanic, which is using parts like leather gained from killing goblins and orcs, and ore from the ore mining mechanics overall is pretty good. I do enjoy this mechanic and its use to progress through the story and the free play. Showing how different each dwarf is again, a final pair of great reasons why dwarfs are great is the buddy up attacks used to destroy walls and fight trolls, and also using characters like Biffa with the spears. They can stack on green tiles to reach higher places in the levels. In effect, I love what Traveller's Tales games did with the main characters and the abilities of them. And the final level of the game is also called Inside Information, which is one of the more boring ones, but it is quite interesting with the sneaking around mechanics, which is basically the final basic bit of the second film, and it was obvious that they were planning to do another bit of the films for Five Armies, but they just never got to it. Overall, this is a pretty good game. The level design is good, it's fun, it's enjoyable. It can sometimes get a bit boring, like in certain levels where you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again, but overall I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10 for level design. Now, moving on to the character roster, overall there is 98 playable characters in this LEGO Hobbit game, ignoring DLC, which is a huge improvement from the Lord of the Rings game, having only 74 playable characters. One notable improvement is the introduction of big figs such as the three trolls Bert, William and Tom, and the amazing Goblin King figure. There's other funny like troll variants like the troll mum or the troll security guard. Other than that, a large part is the 13 dwarves in different outfits like young Balin, and Lake Town Balin, which is a bit sad. There still is a large variety of characters like Gollum, Saruman, Sauron, Azog and Thrall. The Hobbit LEGO game also has a few DLCs, but won't go into details. I believe they don't sell right now on PS5 or Xbox, but the best character from that is definitely Baby Smaug. Overall, I do think the character roster is pretty good, having characters cross over from the Lord of the Rings game, such as Gandalf, Saruman, and also the Gimli the dwarf, which is in Bree if you forge all the mithril schematics, which is pretty cool. So overall, like the level design, I give Lego the Hobbit an 8.5 out of 10 for its characters. Open world. One of the most iconic parts of LEGO games. All LEGO games ever since LEGO Batman 2 has had some type of open world, instead of hub worlds that used to be in the games, with games such as Indiana Jones and the Complete Saga having them. Personally, I believe the Middle-earth maps, including the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings games, are some of the best and on the level of the Skywalker Saga's vast expansive galaxy, with 22 explorable planets. For the Lord of the Rings game, it covers most of the south of Middle-earth, like Rohan, Gondor and Mordor, and it's a really good map. But there are missing bits, like you can't really explore Minas Tirith that much, or Barad-dûr. But apart from that, it's quite an expansive map you can go through Moria. It's pretty cool overall. But the Hobbit game covers more the north area, like Erebor and Mirkwood. Even though there are some similarities between both, like both including the Shire and Lothlorien. Apart from that, the Hobbit map I think is better, because first of all it has less iconic locations, which is a bit sad, but then again the films were worse and are less iconic. But you start with the most western side being the Elven Port, which is pretty cool, also known as the Grey Havens. It's quite a cool bit, but there's not a huge amount there, maybe a few mithril bricks, and then you kind of move more eastward to the Shire, and then from there you're basically just following Bilbo's journey into like Mirkwood and all the areas around that. It's pretty cool. Goblin Town. Just generally the map for this game is really amazing. Mirkwood is one of my personal favourites. It's got like a really nice dark spooky vibe in some areas, and then for like the Elven Kingdom, the cave system's really cool. So generally the map is just amazing. Then up north, it is get a bit disappointing with Erebor, as you kind of expect like a huge like mountain hall, but it's quite small, and I think they should have done better with the interior of Erebor. As right now it is a bit disappointing, but Dale's really cool. Lake Town is a bit like hard to navigate because it's quite tight, but it is generally actually really cool. And yeah, so my general review of the map itself is quite high. But then talking about things that you can find in the map, there's 32 red bricks, including times 2, times 4, times 6, times 8, and times 10 stud multipliers. If you have all of these applied at the same time, it's something like times 3,840. So each stud is worth so much at that point, it's insane. There's more funny ones like Middle-earth Carnival, which turns the whole thing into a party and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I like the red bricks. I think they should have been a bit more expensive, because once you got all the multipliers, you get billions of studs, which is like crazy. But then also, they're quite good for like start of the game playing. Then you also can find the rest of the schematics for the blacksmith in the open world. So they're pretty cool. You get most of them in the level. There's a good 16 or half of them outside in the Middle Earth. Another thing you find is most of the mithril bricks. They're quite a good collectible, and you can use them in Bree to basically forge new weapons, which is very nice. They help with quests. Some like NPCs will require them and they give you a brick in return. And they also go along quite nicely with the treasure menu, and they can be forged in Bree. And once you forge them, you'll get the final character in the game if you're playing it in like 100%ing. It's Gimli the dwarf, kind of a play on Gimli from the original films. As I said earlier, the characters are kind of spread across the world. They're all in kind of reasonable locations. Rivendell is a copy over from the Lord of the Rings, but it doesn't mean it's bad. So overall, the open world is amazing. So many quests, so many things to do, so much exploring. You can go horses and wargs, just kind of run across Middle-earth. It's really good, and I would recommend it. For my final thoughts on this amazing LEGO game, overall, with all the things considered, I'd probably give it a solid 9 out of 10 for the just amazing map, levels and character design. I really like this game. I completed it 100% earlier today when I'm recording this video, so that's a pretty cool achievement to have. So thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, goodbye.